All right, I'm going to start a series of instructional videos for you guys on the human body systems. I'm going to make these instructional videos because I feel like I can kind of just get rid of all the stuff you don't need to know and just give you in the videos the things that I really need you to know to get you to understand the human body systems. Um, it's a great thing we're going to be doing for most of the rest of the time here in June. And it's a nice topic to do because it's a really cool topic. If you are ever wondering about like how your whole body works and how all the systems in your body work together to make it so that you can do everything you can do and your body can do everything you can do. Um, it's really neat. So we're going to get into these systems. But I'm going to expect you guys to go a little bit deeper into these systems and really understand everything that I'm saying in these videos. So go back. If you missed something, go back and replay it because I'm going to give you only things that I do expect you guys to know. I'm going to go through the systems pretty much in this order that you see here. So today I'm going to do skeletal system, and each video I do is going to be on a different system. Today's might be a little bit longer because I'm just going to do this very quick overview on all the systems, but I'm not going to make that extra. I'm just going to go real quick through them. We'll take each one on its own on a different day. So today, again, we're going to be doing skeletal system. That'll be the focus of today. So you will see that skeletal system is all about your bones and what they do. The next one we'll do is the muscular system. That's all about your muscles and what they do and how they work. The digestive system has to do with digestion, and that's how you handle your food, what your body does with the food that you take in. So the parts like your mouth, you have like tubes that go down into your stomach. You have intestines. That's all about digestion. The respiratory system is all about breathing. The main player there is the lungs. Circulatory system is all about blood. And the vessels, which are just the tubes in your body that circulate the blood, and the heart that pumps the blood through those tubes. So that's the circulatory system. Lymphatic system is a bad term for you guys. You probably haven't heard of that, but you probably have heard of it called the immune system. And your immune cells are all about protecting your body from bacteria or viruses. So this is obviously a big deal right now. A lot of the people who died of coronavirus, for example, had weak immune systems, and their immune systems were not able to kill the virus and get it out of their body. So that's the immune system. We'll talk about that. Nervous system is pretty much the brain and spinal cord and nerves. That lets you sense and respond to the environment. That's the nervous system. Endocrine system, you also might not know. That might seem new and strange to you, but you probably do know it by its other term. Endocrine means hormone. So we can just call it the hormone system. And that's all about your body keeping things regulated. Regulated. The big term for that was homeostasis. You should remember that. I think we've covered this in other topics. When we were doing cells, I believe we covered homeostasis, that all your cells and tissues and organs keep everything very regulated. And that's homeostasis. And your hormonal system really helps your body to do that. Urinary system is all about the kidneys and making pee. And really what that's all about is getting rid of wastes. Okay, we'll talk about that when we get to it. And your bladder is another part of that system, kidney and bladder. And you're getting rid of wastes. Reproductive system is a very specialized system about reproducing and making babies. I think because of time, we're definitely not going to have time to get into reproductive system, unfortunately. But I'm going to try to cover all these other systems. So let's just get right into it. And remember, today we're going to focus in on skeletal system. For every system, though, that we do, there's two main things you need to know. There's the structure of the system. Those are the parts. And there's the functions. It's what the parts do. Okay? So the parts themselves are just the structures, are just the parts. The functions are what they do. So like an example, in the circulatory system, we have a structure which is the heart. Okay? And that's the structure of one thing in the circulatory system. The function of that structure. What does the heart do? The heart's function is to pump the blood or circulate the blood. So again, every system we do is going to have its parts and pieces, what the parts are that help that system work. And then, of course, once we know the parts, we have to ask, all right, great, what do those parts do? And we'll do that with the skeletal system. So that's it. That's the quick overview. Let's just get right into the skeletal system. So this is it. There's a couple pictures here. One is a cartoon and one is a cartoon, but it's a pretty good cartoon. It looks very similar to the actual model, and this model looks very similar to what real bones look like in a skeleton inside you and me. There are, you might not know it, but it's because these pictures don't look like there's that many of them, but you and I have about 206 bones in the body. The reason there's so many is a lot of the small bones are concentrated like in the vertebral column here and in the hand and down in the feet. There's like a lot of small bones, but there's 206 total bones in the skeletal system. In the skeletal system, the main part and piece, the main structures are these bones. And the skeleton is the collection of the bones. The skeleton is the collection of all the bones. Okay? I have this slide here to show you, to just go a little bit into detail about what one bone looks like. So if you take any one of those bones out, this is like an example of one of the long bones, like that might be in your arm or in your leg. That bones are very hard because all that super hard rock-like stuff, and it is rock-like stuff that your body makes on the outside, that's just on the outside. The inside here, it's actually kind of hollow, but it's not really hollow. It's filled with cells, and we'll talk about what they do, but that's called the marrow. So your bones actually have a lot of this stuff inside that's not bone, that's the marrow. The outside, the thing, the hard stuff that you feel when you feel your bones is really just this outer covering. All right, so the main structures are the bones, and now we're going to start talking about the functions. So structures, I'm just going to abbreviate it, are bones. Okay, and now we're going to start to get into functions. I should say, for every skeletal system, there's always going to be more than one function. There's always going to be a lot of functions for every system we talk about. And that's one of the middle school things I need you to know. In elementary school, every little kid thinks like everybody's system just kind of does one thing. But you're going to see in a second with the skeletal system that that's not true. And you're going to see that that's not true in surprising ways. I think you're going to be surprised at some of the functions, other functions that your skeletal system does that you didn't know about. But we're going to start out with ones that I think you do know about. So if you took your bones out of your body, you would just collapse in a heap on the ground. So those hard bones support support your body. And they give this like framework, a frame or a framework for your body to hold itself up, to hold itself up and together. Okay, so that's the support. But the other main thing that it does is connected with another system, is connected with the muscles here that you see here. So right here, this picture here is showing you this. It's this muscle here stretching across this area here. That's what you're seeing here. And oftentimes the skeletal system is called the musculoskeletal system, and that's because it's one of the main roles of the skeletal system is about movement. Musculo means muscle. We see that here. Here's skeletal muscle, and skeleton are the bones. And you can see here that the muscles are attached. There's two muscles here, and they're attached by these white things, and those are tendons. So the tendons are attaching the muscle to the bone. And when these muscles contract, if these muscles try to like close themselves off, they're gonna pull on these tendons toward the middle, and then this joint, like this arm, is gonna bend upward. So your movement is totally dependent on the muscles, and the only way the muscles can do that is by attaching themselves to the bones so that they can move, that they can make these joints like move. So support, and I'll write the other one, movement. Support and movement. So we're getting into functions of the skeletal system. All right, second function. Let's just write function number 2. In function, I'm just going to abbreviate with an FX. So is protection. Your bones are protecting vital organs. And I've got 2 examples shown here. So here's your skull. And I bet you all know what's inside your skull, but you've got a very fragile and super important brain inside here. So your brain is so fragile and so delicate that you literally encase the entire thing inside bone, and that's what your skull is. Here's another example. So in this skeleton here, this pink thing that you're seeing right on my arrow is lung. That's part of your respiratory system when you're breathing. And inside the lung, you can see this other pink thing here that's not quite as reddish or pinkish. That's your heart. Part of the circulatory system. That's pumping blood inside. So again, your body systems are taking care of each other. Your skeletal system is protecting your respiratory system and your circulatory system, protecting those vital means super important, or you need them to live, those vital organs from damage. So if you get hit in the chest, you're not going to damage those lungs or your heart. So protection is another important function. So those, I think, are things that you know or knew in your prior knowledge, and they're sort of obvious. But the next 2 I'm going to talk about are things that you might not have known, and I'm guessing you probably didn't. So that makes them interesting. So function number 3 is going to be the skeletal system is involved in hearing. So this is where, like, I want you to be middle schoolers and to understand something that I think is new territory for you guys. So how in the world is your skeletal system, our bones, involved in the system of hearing? So these 2 pictures show the answer. So here's your ear, and sound waves, our pressure waves, are coming into your ear. And it's weird, but sound waves are like, they're sort of like vibrations. They're like pressure waves where things kind of are moving, they're wiggling back and forth. it's hard to draw, but when things are like wiggling back and forth or pushing and pulling on something, they create sound. It has to do with vibrations. So vibrations, sound is vibrations, and they coming into your ear, and those vibrations start vibrating bones. There's 3 bones that are right inside your ear, and those 3 bones are, these 3 bones are kind of pulled out and drawn in a bigger picture here. So you're seeing the bones right inside here in this big box here where they kind of took them out just to show you what they look like. The bones are called the malleus and the incus and stapes, and when these sound waves start vibrating back and forth, they vibrate on your eardrum, which is, if you stick a, don't do this, but if you've ever stuck a Q-tip too far in your ear and it hurts, it's because you've poked at this eardrum. Right on the other side of the eardrum, there's 3 bones, part of the skeletal system, and they literally start vibrating. They start rocking and rolling back and forth in this space, and they start pushing and pulling on this thing here called the oval window. And in a complicated way, that oval window is hooked up to other cells that are hooked up to your nerves that go straight into your brain, and then your brain kind of analyzes all that crazy movement of the bones, and you interpret that as the sounds that you're hearing right now through your computer when you're hearing me speak. These bones are moving back and forth in your ear. They're setting off nerve signals that go up to your brain, and that is hearing. And that cannot happen without the skeletal system, because 3 bones are doing the moving that set up the signals that are ending up going to your brain. It's absolutely amazing. So your skeletal system is necessary for hearing. The last thing I'm going to talk about is another function that I bet you guys didn't know, and that has to do with the inside of the bones, that marrow stuff that I introduced a little bit before. But that's involved in something that I bet you guys didn't know. It's involved in blood formation. So inside so in this picture here of these bones that you can get from the supermarket, show you that the hard bone is on the outside, and this is it's called the compact bone. And then inside, it is not compact bone. Inside, it's the marrow, and the marrow is full of blood forming cells. So your blood cells get made inside your bone. And so here's the marrow right here on top. This is the compact bone on the outside here, okay? And inside here, inside the tube of your bone, are all these cells in here churning out blood cells every day. They're making new blood cells for you. So and this is real. A lot of times, if kids go into the doctor with blood problems, if there's something wrong with their blood, a lot of times blood problems are actually because there's bone problems. Something's going wrong with the bones, and then inside here, the spaces inside aren't working right either, so they don't make the proper blood cells. So sometimes blood problems in people are actually are caused by bone problems in people. So a function that I bet you guys didn't know, and I'm just going to review them really quickly. We went over 4 main functions of the skeletal system. Functions. 4 skeletal system functions. The first one was support and movement. The second one, do you remember before I write? The second one was protection of what? What's protected by your bones? Do you remember? Inside, you're protecting vital organs. And then 3 and 4, the crazy ones, hearing. Do you remember how in the world your skeletal system helps with hearing? Those three little bones inside your ear. They're the smallest bones in your body, by the way. Those three bones are the three smallest bones in your body. But those three bones move, and they they signal the nerves that go, the hearing nerves, the nerves for hearing. That's a cool system. That's really neat how that works. And the fourth one is also a crazy one that you probably didn't know, but it's the blood production. And that's a function of the bone, not the outside bone, not the compact bone, but of the bone marrow. So there you have it. The skeletal system, four main functions. Two of them you probably knew. Two new ones that are probably, I hope, interesting to you and kind of cool. We're going to continue on with videos like this for all the systems that we do. I hope you like this. Look at your DK book that I sent you for a lot more information on the skeletal system. Feel free to ask me questions as well. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll have a little bit of a worksheet for you guys on this